Hello, my name is Jenna Bosiger, and you're watching Cryptic Cryptids YouTube channel. On this episode, I was able to get back out into the Mojave Desert, and I was looking for the petroglyphs, and this time I really was wanting to find the surprise tank. And they have different tanks there filled with water, and that's what my goal was that day. And I did find surprise tank, and I did jump in. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
On this episode, it'll be our third trip back to the Rodman Wilderness petroglyphs. And I think it's about time I gave a proper introduction to my friend Danae, who's been with me on both trips.
So we went back past the cinder pit, and I did get this great picture of a butterfly in mid-flight, which is not easy to do. This time we followed the cliff line for a while. Up at the top, we were up very high. We found a couple caves and some amazing petroglyphs along the way, but we remained focused on looking for the surprise tank. And we knew that we needed to find the arroyo. And so eventually we did find that, and we just kept going up and up and up the arroyo. And along the way, seeing so many petroglyphs, we were like walking in slow motion. Not only that, we were having to step over large boulders. And it's amazing how some of these petroglyphs, there's differences in them. Some are very thick and almost looks like had the force of being just done with one swipe. And others are done with a lot of precision because they had to make them close together like that, these lines radiating. And I don't know how they do that without it chipping. And then there's these others that are definitely old, but they seem more scratched in. And maybe, I think there's a long period of time between, when these were made. And I am making a Birdman video and finding out a lot of things about that symbol in North America, both the symbol and the actual creature. And so they really stand out for me now when I see something that looks like either a thunderbird or a birdman. And so I did see a few of those. And then, there's these kind of creatures that don't resemble anything I know, other than they do look like they were living creatures of some kind. How big or small they are, I would like to know. And this is a really beautiful picture. This looks like a robot. And then I loved this one, this figure that's just scratched in, but if you look at it up close, its face looked very reptilian and triangle. And I don't know, they were very amazing artists that were making these. It was not just, a free-for-all, anybody can do it. They were being made by the shamans who were the artists. And yeah, they were likely doing some sort of hallucinogens and trying to connect with all the spirits and all the creatures that they could possibly connect with. And it looks like they made a lot of connections with a lot of creatures. Some of them look familiar. And a lot resembles water, and many resemble snakes. And you have to remember, we're going up this arroyo, and we are in a drought, but for a long time, this was filled with water. It's really deep, and there's many different levels, and it would have been a very sacred place because it had this water source. And you can tell they spent a lot of time here because this water, it's almost like a miracle, and that's why I just had to see it for myself. And then these are way up in the top, but they just look like owls looking down. To me, they look like owls. And surprise tank is known for being really deep, and you can tell that this would have held a lot of water. Now this panel caught my interest because, you know, I'm always looking at the handprints and counting the fingers, and not only is there a 6-fingered handprint here, but it's next to a 5-fingered handprint. And guess what? The 5-fingered handprint is little, and the 6-fingered handprint is big. Giant in comparison. We pretty much know what that means, and I cannot wait to report and maybe find something out about the Anasazi and all those 6-fingered petroglyphs that they were making. If there was a message there, I would sure like to know what it is. But then I saw this creature, and the first word that popped in my mind was reptilian. And it looks just like this reptilian. It's really an amazing looking figure to just, you know, look up and see. And then, of course, I just wanted to show you how similar it is to one of the most well-known reptilians of all from the original Land of the Lost. Hands that are connected by the thumb, they do look like they appear to be 5-fingered hands. And then, you know, we're walking along, and it looked like somebody had just left this piece of plastic green garland, you know, but it was actually real, and it actually was a watermelon vine, and it had little baby watermelons on it just growing out there in the wild, probably left over from, you know, the Native Americans that were there doing that as you're going up this arroyo. And these are the tanks. So this isn't the top and the biggest tank, which would be surprise tank, but this is like a very narrow arroyo, and it wasn't just like round thing. It was all filled with water, deep enough to not be stagnant, but to be like fresh water, like a little lake in a desert. I jumped into, I came prepared to do that.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2.
It's gonna be cold.
And I did it. Danae helped me videotape it. And, you know, I got the video. And it is true, I don't like being away from my camera, but like looking at this, I might need to, you know, I was coming at her to take my camera back, but it seems very aggressive. I might want to work on my approach. And I met this large, friendly turtle who was a rescue. And then it is back to the reality of Los Angeles traffic. And then the one other little mishap. This happened. Well, I can't really say it happened. It was done. And I will take some partial blame because I never should have, you know, I should have been the one driving, because if I was driving, this wouldn't have happened. But I thought, you know, I'd have a moment to collect my things and da-da-da-da-da. That was not the case. Good news is I know how to prevent this particular thing from happening again, and that is by driving, because, you know, it's my car and I know how to drive it better. But made it home safe, which is always a great feeling. And I'm happy to make this video to show you what I found out there deep in the Mojave Desert. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell if you haven't already. All right, thanks. Bye.